drag queens, naked men, and Warren Buffett. We are talking about the Celebrity Apprentice. Odd show, a lot of stuff going on tonight. Candy for a Billionaire coming at you right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
A little motley crew for you. Hello, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to the after show here for the new Celebrity Apprentice on NBC right here. And we're here to talk about all the stuff that has happened. Long episode, a lot of twists and turns in this episode, a lot of different, a wide variety of things happening on screen. I'm your host, Grant Rutter. You can find me over on Twitter at Grants__rants.
Wide variety of things happening on screen there and here. Hey everybody, my name is Christy Olson, and you guys can always hit me up at Christy Reports.
And I'm Alison Dean. You can find me at the Alison Dean. Yay!
Yay! All right, what do we want to say about this show? We're gonna get it. We have a lot to cover. We're gonna get into some news and gossip in a moment, and we're gonna let you all know what we thought of who won, who lost, and everything in between.
This was a good one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. The first one was a little less for me because I think the second one, where they switched up the teams, it was time.
Mm-hmm. It was totally time. And by the way, that was paying homage to Vince just now for raising over $700,000 for his charity.
Much respect
So
for
a little
Vince.
girls.
And the strippers who came and donated
And the
some money.
strippers.
But a dollar is a dollar.
Deja
The
vu,
cash
baby.
checks, make sure that cash
Actually,
checks.
it's Girls is also the name of the strip club. It's not Deja Vu.
Oh,
Oh,
they were
really?
wearing
That's a different one.
They were wearing Deja Vu shirts.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't he owns Girls though, right? On
Maybe
Sunset
they came in
Boulevard?
too.
I would hope so. I would only hope so.
They must.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or they were,
Yeah.
or
A lot
his
of
girls were
girlfriends.
wearing Deja Vu shirts.
Yes.
They're
I saw
moonlighters.
Deja
They're
Vu. I
moonlighters.
just yes.
Sorry.
Well, much like the show was switched up tonight, we're switching up our own show with doing a little bit of an upside down effect of talking about some news and gossip first.
Yay!
Why not?
TV News.
Let's do it, because I know y'all want to hear the ratings for this show, as everyone, including our future president's, been talking about it. So, first week got 4.9 million viewers. Last week fell over 20% to 3.9 million viewers. Yeah, so a bit of a drop. We'll keep you posted as to how well this episode does.
Not
But
good.
Patrick Schwarzenegger was on Access Hollywood today and just kind of spilled some really fun stuff. We don't know him very well, but he talked about his family and growing up in Austria. His uncle Arnold has always been his friend. He said his father passed away at the age of 3, and that's when Arnold kind of took over that role in his life. He would send Patrick protein powders from America. That was the big thing that he wanted in Austria. And then when he turned 18, Arnold brought him to America, put him through college and through law school, so he really owes a lot to his uncle,
Yeah.
and he's also his lawyer. No surprise there. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Gemma Godfrey, who we saw in the first test tonight. She's the CEO of Moolah. It's an online wealth management company. She's also a quantum physicist. Yeah. She's trying to make investing simpler for the public. That's what the Moolah company is all about. She launched her career at Goldman Sachs and has been named one of the savviest influencers by the Wall Street Journal. So good to see
know,
her
yeah.
tonight.
Legit.
Also, yeah, if you guys remember Carrie Keegan, we got to rewind our brains all the way back to Carrie Keegan. She gave an interview and she talked about how Arnold invited the entire cast to his house. And she said he invited us up to his home. So I picture, some sprawling mansion on top of a mountain. And that he told them at that time when they all got together, he wants to get to know them before becoming their TV boss. So kind of an interesting dynamic
I
that
like
must
that.
have set up. The Memphis Grizzlies basketball team honored Lisa Leslie last night as part of their annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration game. She's only the second female ever to be honored, but however, she couldn't make it to the actual ceremony due to a family emergency. So we know she puts being mommy is priority number 1, and I hope
Yeah.
everything's cool with her. One more juicy tidbit, John Lovitz and Boy George engaged in a Twitter feud last week over
I heard
the
about
comments
this.
that they each made on the show. And
Oi.
it had a comical tone, but they definitely went in on each other a little bit. And even Boy George wanted to keep it going at the end. He was like, no, let's keep this up. And John kind of said, I wish you all well, whatever.
boys, this is over a year old. I mean, when
that's true.
when they showed the outside of See's Candy, they had their like seasonal like wreaths of heart shapes, you know, for like Valentine's Day, because this was shot in February. So what are these two arguing about a year-old feud? I mean, I can barely keep up with what someone said about me last week on this show in the comments. I mean,
I know,
who the hell
right?
can keep up?
It was some things about like, that they had implied John wasn't funny. He took issue with that, and
Yeah.
he attacked Boy George. Remember how he had his little mini tantrum
Yeah.
on last week's episode? So they didn't go in too hard, but it was still pretty funny.
Yeah.
Whatever attempts they can do to get those ratings up.
Yeah, well, that's true. God knows they need the work. Oh, I hate to say it, but I might. Well, if we're all backwards and upside down, my prediction is this might be the end of Celebrity Apprentice.
Or they
It's
just need to
just-
they need to bring it back to the old format or something. Not necessarily with
Rehab it.
Donald, but they clearly they're doing a lot differently, and they're really just blazing through it too fast.
Especially
Yeah.
the first task that we saw tonight.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you know, you get what you pay for, and I hate to say it, but yeah, it's like you
Right?
said, it's like if there was a new viewer, they'd be like, wait,
When
what
it's
is
happening.
this?
Yeah.
You know, we're only latching on to these points and the advisors and the input from the executives because we know the format of the show so well because we saw it in a slower pace. So to try to jump in now as a new viewer and the coveted demos that they want, good luck. I'm just saying, but anyway.
Well, that has been your new Celebrity Apprentice News of the Week.
Thank
Yay!
you. Good. Well, let's go with the first task, and we are going to have to be as speedy as NBC because we have a lot to cover. But let's talk about it. So, Kawasaki, that's correct, right?
Yeah, Kawasaki.
Kawasaki motorcycles. They have a task that they're obviously, yeah, they are. It's a 4-page photo spread they're being judged on creativity, demographic appeal, and their presentations. Kyle picks up on the women's side. And
Immediately.
yeah.
Carson, too. They just volunteered.
Yeah, so I was happy to see that. Let's go through. We'll look at the men's team first at this point. The men were still intact. Carson talked a lot about how they wanted to have the motorcycle be a form of art. So they were going to use a studio and kind of just build around that, which I thought it was good. It was center point of the product. And then he wanted to really base it around being comfortable in your own skin and something everyone can relate to. And then he introduced a drag queen. What did you think of this aspect?
I thought, to me, it seemed like, West Hollywood resident me, it seemed like exactly what the executives were asking for. Showing different kinds of people that you wouldn't normally assume are maybe motorcycle enthusiasts riding a bike. And that's exactly
Yeah.
what they did.
And actually, I thought it was totally a selling point in the sense that once they were in the boardroom, Arnold had no idea that was a drag queen. Because he
Yeah.
said, wait, what? There was a drag, what? So, and I made that comment we were watching. I said, if anyone else was just looking at that, they could just think that was some hot, skinny chick with a
Yeah.
really tall head of hair. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
To show versatility,
really-
yeah. I guess.
She looked quite lovely. And so
Yeah.
I give Carson kudos. He definitely thought outside the box, and I totally loved how it was his intention of the inclusivity of it all. And I
Yes.
thought that was a beautiful thing.
Now, Allison, what did you make of his nude photos?
Okay, I just thought it was also really good that he had so many varied photos. So they took a lot of photos with a lot of different kinds of people in every shot. And so that was a testament to whatever his vision was. And the women really only had 6 photos, how many? 5 photos? I don't know. They didn't really have that
Carson
kind
was
of
going to
Yeah.
make sure he delivered
Cover.
what they were looking for.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I thought it was funny. I mean, I'm happy that he used that for the outtake because I definitely
Yeah.
thought that was a little bit of a stretch, but they could have done that for TV also.
He never goes too far. He very, like you said, thinks outside the box and is very...
He knows when to reel it back.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Chael and John thought that it was just too much. They let everyone know from the beginning that they were not feeling it.
Well, I
Whatever.
wasn't surprised to hear
Yeah.
that from Chael.
Yeah. I know. I don't picture him being a friend of the queens.
No.
Like meeting the drag
That's a
queens.
great way to put it,
Meeting
Grant.
the drag queens. I'm not saying anything about his preferences and length. I'm just saying I don't picture him going to a show. You know, I mean, whatever. So anyway, what else can we say? So you mentioned they scrapped the nude, which was a good choice. He added it to a collage to give more another experience. Just like, why not use the content that you have?
I loved that actually. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the bloopers, with a movie. So I was like, yeah, give me the bonus shots.
You just fast forward straight to the end of the movie
Why
for the
not?
bloopers.
Yes. So the overall theme of the presentation on the men's side was freedom for everyone, and that they had showed a lot of diversity through their photos that's saying this product could be for everyone. And I thought they executed it very well. I had no complaints. I thought it was really, I preferred their photos. I just thought they were a little bit more out of the box.
I love the fact that they even paid homage to that Arnold photograph. I thought that was so smart too. So just they captured some stuff.
I would have picked them as my winner.
Yes.
Again.
Well, let's
Again.
Yes,
Again for
I
the
know.
men. You're like, please, God, women.
We're not trying to be anti-girl
No!
power over here.
I know, well, it is frustrating. It is. Even on the side of the table, I'm like, come on, like I love a good comeback story. I would love for them to switch and then see the men get ticked off one by one and have them turn on each other. But Kyle was there to come up with her concept, which was using celebrities and men. She mentioned this in the beginning. We only did see one man that we will get into in a moment. But she wanted to show all types of women that love motorcycles, that women can like it too. And they went to downtown LA for a shoot, which was cool. I like that they used the city. They're on the street showing it like in action.
But not really, because they were just parked on the street.
True, yeah. But I guess it's like better than
They
a
need
white
to drive
screen.
the bikes to downtown LA. Big mistake.
Well, yes. Then the first thing they pointed out was the height difference photo she had with Lisa Leslie, and I thought that was a great idea.
That was my favorite of all of their photos, just because that to me was a selling point of the actual, like, what makes this bike different and accessible to all types of people. I was like, win!
Right.
Yeah.
More of that, ladies.
And still
More of that.
using their celebrity. They've got this huge basketball player and this tiny Real Housewife. It's perfect.
Yes. Brooke Burke's husband made an appearance, and I bet he regrets it.
Well, listen, we kind of knew how this was going to go from the beginning, from
Yeah.
her going, oh, I don't know if he's available. No. I'm sorry, but if I call my husband and I say I need you on television, it doesn't matter what else he's doing.
Yeah, what is he? What is David Chauvet do?
Well, he's still an actor, apparently. Actor and model.
that's gonna be for
no,
next week.
He is. He's still. That's what he's trying to do.
Okay.
Trying to do, she said.
Shade. Yes. Okay.
No, they have a big house in Malibu. He must be doing fine
I don't
on
feel
some
bad
level.
for either of them. Yeah.
No, we don't feel bad for them.
But yeah, Brooke, I'm a little biased against Brooke for whatever reason. I just don't care for her. I don't know what it is.
We saw the reason tonight. We saw her being, I'm gonna say, weak and lacking in opinion and not standing up to her husband. I thought, oh yes, this is what I've picked up from her and what I don't care for about her.
Little mamby-pamby behavior.
That's a great word for it. Yes.
Like, wow. I thought it was actually interesting though too, in the sense that David was very adamant in the sense where he didn't want Arnold to pass judgment on him being like a weak man riding on the back of a motorcycle. And I just thought it was so beautiful when Arnold said in the boardroom, I would get back on that motorcycle.
Yeah.
I would ride that motorcycle. And I was like, you go, Arnold.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Because you knew that was coming. Because a real man isn't going to be threatened by having to sit behind a woman on a motorcycle. Come on.
Thank you.
Yeah. The whole thing with this is this David was so worried how it would look if he was on the back of the motorcycle. Yet, by not doing so, he looked worse.
You're so right, Grant.
He looked awful.
Like, I really think he's probably... Is he tweeting right now? Like, what?
That's good.
He's hiding. He's Twitter hiding
He's
today.
hiding.
Yes. Yes. So whatever. I don't know. Then they had to eliminate one photo.
Yeah, and we hadn't even gotten to see the photos.
That
I'm like, what
annoyed
are they
me.
talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, I really didn't like that at all.
These photos that we had to imagine that they were going to cut. So they ended up deciding to kill one of Lisa's, the second one of Lisa's, because she was already in it twice, and they wanted to utilize Portia, which makes sense. I get it.
I wish what they would have done was use that shot, though, that Lisa did pushing the guy away. I wish they would have used Portia doing that shot of pushing a guy away. Like,
okay.
that would have been smarter. So at least, or just get several shots of each of them doing, like, the same thing, just so you have options. I mean, if you have a photographer there, just get shot.
True.
I kind of thought him standing there holding her heels was cute, though. It was sort of like, oh, I'm ditching the heels and I'm putting on my boots and getting on my bike.
I think I kind of missed it. It
I-
sort of went
okay.
past me.
I as
wasn't
well
too
did.
obvious.
It wasn't until they described it,
Yeah.
and then I looked, I saw the shoes. Because I was like, wait a minute, like, everything
I
is
was
so
like,
quick.
what are those? Yes.
Yeah, everything is so quick. Unless if you have like a freaking like huge TV where you can see every detail, everything is like, I had to look for the shoes. I just saw her kind of like giving like one of these, and I was like, oh, what is that? Like, I don't get it. But then I saw that those the shoes, but it was lost on me because it was too quick. Yes. So they had their presentation, and Kyle, I was proud of her. She did mention that she wanted to highlight the Ergo Fit component to the Kawasaki motorcycle with using the heights. So I was like, okay, that's good. I like that she's like using their lingo. The other guy, I didn't hear that.
Well, it's possible that just didn't come through in the editing, right?
Perhaps one never knows.
Because I feel like the guys have generally been pretty good about inserting the appropriate lingo as needed.
True.
I don't know.
It didn't come up as a positive or negative either way, no one cared. Yeah, but their overall theme was that it shared versatility amongst users, and that's what they did. It was a little vanilla to me. The photos were a little. We'll get into the positive negatives, but the word that they used, and I agree, is safe.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's talk about the positives and negatives. Going back to the men's team who did all those crazy shots. They were voted in a positive way for their creativity, presentation, and overall entertainment value, which I think is a huge win. Anytime it says it's good entertainment value, I'm like, perfect, that's my goal, so good for them.
That's our job.
Yes, and then the negative was that they pushed the envelope and it was perhaps a little too much, which, to any creative is like not really a note. It's like, come on. I mean, just like having fun
they're
with
reaching.
this.
They're just like, okay, we need to give them some kind of a negative at this point.
Yeah. So on the women's side, their positives were that they nailed the ergo fit picture.
Of course.
Yes, that we all seem to like, and that they said they made the bike look approachable. True. Yes. And they were not happy about Brooke's photo. Surprise! How she was riding in the front. They thought that should have been in the back. Oh, they thought she should have been in the front. Yes.
Because it looked like any other motorcycle campaign. Like you could see that photo in a million magazines for a million different companies.
Yeah.
Safe.
Yep. And then it was the next one, safe. And then the last one, what the hell was this? Oh, the least favorite was the one with
Portia?
Brooke and Layla.
Was it Layla or Portia's photo? Layla's photo? I don't know.
Wait. Oh, never mind. It must have just been the Layla's photo. I don't know why Brooke is in there. Well, yeah. Well,
the bottom two for them were
the
Brooke
bottom
and Layla.
Correct.
Okay.
That was the
Layla's
bottom
was
two.
kind of boring.
No, I thought it was Brooke and Porsche's.
That's what I thought
that they
too.
did. Yeah, it was Brooke and Porsche's that they didn't
okay.
care for.
Although
they just said something about
Layla's was
Layla's.
kind of
I
whatever.
thought
They
said
loved
some-
Layla's.
Oh, did
Layla's
they?
really liked the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Whoops.
Well, she
then
wasn't really
that was
doing
good.
anything though, was she?
She was
No.
walking towards it. Yeah.
Yeah, see that
She
confused
was a
me
good
also.
shot of her.
I mean, great shot of her,
Yeah.
but okay. I'm like,
So
We're
surprise.
confused by the choice, but okay.
Yes. So immediately Schwarzenegger starts the Boardroom off with saying, perhaps that was a missed opportunity. Brooke, with your husband, what was going on? Like, what did you think of that? And they get into all of that later,
And
but
she
he was quick to call it out.
defend it.
Yes, but he was quick to call it out. And then Chael voiced his question right away of the drag queen and kind of laid the groundwork to CYA should he lose. The men win. They get $25,000. That goes towards the True Colors Fund for LGBT street youth.
It's awesome.
Yes,
Great.
good for them. And then Kyle as well for Children's Hospital Los Angeles won $25,000 from Kawasaki. So
that was lovely.
yes, good
Yeah,
for them.
I'm
was a
guessing
win
they're
for
probably
both.
one of the biggest fundraising organizations in the entire world, and I'm sure they needed that 25 grand.
Well, who knows? I think that I'm
There,
so
for the one
surprised.
viewer who doesn't like that I always hate
Yes.
on Kyle. Yeah, I don't even like the
Yeah.
charity that she picked. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I can't complain about charities, but I think that at the end of the day, like, I thought she was going to do something cancer related, but, it's good. Either way,
Yeah.
good for her. Good for her. There's a win, and she didn't have to walk away empty-handed. Positive.
No, and
Thank you.
Schwarzenegger was
which is
so
positive.
nice to her.
Yes.
It was like a complete 180 from his other firings. I mean, he really was kind to her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it almost seemed like he tried to avoid getting rid of
Well,
her.
it was almost as though he was trying to set things up for her to take Brooke down, and she wasn't taking the bait at all, or to even like throw Portia under the bus a little bit, because now Portia's been in the boardroom a couple times. So really, if you target accordingly, like kind of like what Chael did in that one episode, it's like if you target and you make a strong case for yourself, he'll keep you. But she just kind of was sitting back and letting it happen.
Well, when Kyle blamed, I have it here, Kyle blamed Layla for her own shot because that was a negative. So I think there was something about that shot with Layla that they didn't care for, because I have it in here twice.
I defer to you, Grant.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Because I think that's this basic.
Yeah, are we gonna say for like the fifth
Maybe
time? Like
you-
it goes so quick.
You
Yeah,
wrote
I
Layla
know.
as they were saying Portia. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't
But
know.
it might-
Dude,
the
and
overall-
BTW, Grant knows his housewives and
Oh,
his
yeah.
former
Yeah,
dates
yeah,
with the
yeah.
stars
Yeah.
contestants. He's not mixing up.
But
the
now
two.
I'm
Yes.
confused.
I know. I'm sorry. The overall
It's
point,
okay.
the larger point is that at this point, if you notice, Kyle, wherever the negatives lied, wherever they were, she didn't take credit for any of those. She took only credit for the positives. She said, "Oh yeah, everything that they loved, I was a part of," and I swear she said Layla, but she did her own shot. I remember her saying that now. She said Layla was responsible for her own shot, so I took over everything else that they loved, and I was like, "Oh really? So you're just gonna take responsibility for the good stuff, you know, like." I get it from a project manager perspective. You're not going to put negative stuff on and shine a negative light. But it was too quick to draw a line.
I mean, technically, she was the right one to go because she really thought that she knocked it out of the park, and so that's a reflection on her as project manager, right?
I think it would have been easy for her to get Brooke terminated.
Maybe
Maybe it should have been Kyle, but it would have been easy for her. She wouldn't have had to go too hard, I don't think, even
Yeah.
at Brooke.
You know, I will give Brooke a little credit because she did, in fighting for herself as opposed to caving, she did say, well, these photos were so women heavy and women focused that perhaps having one with a male, since it's for everyone, wasn't the worst idea.
But the executives didn't say, we wanted you to represent males and females. They wanted
Right.
them to do something unique that represents all people. And again, another photo that looked exactly like every other motorcycle ad.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, Schwarzenegger ultimately said that he wanted them to take risks. He was in agreement that they did. And Portia said that they should fire Kyle. And,
and they did.
and they did, yes. So that was it for Kyle. Thank you for doing Celebrity Apprentice.
Thank you, Kyle.
Adios.
Yes. So then we get right into the second one, like immediately, which I was happy about.
Yes.
And
This one was probably my most fave so far.
I love a good charity task. It's very
Yeah.
clear. It's money based. It's like everyone's game. You know, like it's a great team activity. I loved it.
This used to be every episode. This is what they would do. They would all get on the phone. It was who can raise how many hundreds of thousands of dollars. We haven't seen that at all yet this season.
Remember, the very first task of a Celebrity and Regular Apprentice was that lemonade stand and selling for that. So it was all about money.
Go, Rancic.
It was all about money.
I remember that.
Yeah, remember them
That
running
was
through the
really
street.
a
Long time ago.
long time ago.
Yeah. Omarosa, how you've climbed. How you've climbed from selling lemonade to...
Now.
She's on part of Trump's cabinet, right?
She is indeed.
She is there.
She is indeed.
Get it,
Yes,
girl.
she got the job. Yes.
Hired.
Yes.
Hired.
Finally, that girl paid her dues, whether you like her or not. She did. Like,
Oh,
how
she was
many
on
of
the
these?
Regular Apprentice, Celebrity Apprentice.
The most hated of all time, most hated
Mm-hmm.
reality star, according to like what, like I don't know, some defunct magazine. I don't know. I don't know. So Brooke and Layla switched, and Carson and Chael switched. So now there's some new teams.
And can I tell you, I suspected right away. I was like, oh, Lisa and Chael will not get along. And then they didn't.
Yes. You know your reality stars. Yes. So See's Candy, a big presence here, like in LA. I feel like they have, especially in malls, like that's a good local company for them to cover, despite being despite being owned by the Warren Buffett, of course. But, you know.
Well, it's been around for a long time. He hasn't always
Yes.
owned it, of course. It's
Right.
been around a long
He's like,
time.
you know
Yes.
what? I can afford to buy a giant candy corporation. I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
Because I like candy.
And I liked
Must
him.
be nice.
That's great. Yeah. No, it was
Yeah,
fantastic.
he probably looked the best out of all these people.
For sure. Who knew that he had such like a cute personality? You know, like he was
Yeah.
fun. Like and someone like that, you always expect, like they said, they knew he has this giant intellect, and you expect them to be kind of condescending or stuffy, and he was just the total opposite of that. He just wanted to
no,
eat his chocolates.
he rolled with it,
liked
man.
him, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had to name and package celebrity candies. They had to sell in a store. And the winner who had the best taste, according to Warren, Mr. Buffett, would get $25,000 extra. And on top of that was all fundraising.
And that actually was the huge, that was the pusher, the win, this
Yeah.
25K. So that would
Yeah.
have, that was a big deal.
Right. And you know, Chael's team has an advantage because he is a Warren Buffett expert.
Expert.
As he
So we've
is on
heard.
every single thing that they've had to be tasked with thus far. He said, oh, I know all about that.
I guess. Yeah, someday it's gonna get him in
Every
trouble.
time.
Someday it's gonna get him in trouble, though. Yeah, I don't think we're. How do we collectively feel
He
about
wasn't
him?
an expert on the makeup though.
I didn't remember him in that
last
episode.
week too. It was I know all about such and such.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely-
didn't even know he was in that episode. So
He definitely thinks he's.
Yeah.
He knows things.
yes. So Team Prima, or at this point, why?
Now
who
I'm
knows?
confused. Why do they have
I
to call
know.
it Team Prima and Team
Vince? Yeah,
Arete?
I'm calling them Vince's
Arete.
team. Vince's team in this case.
I like that.
He stepped up, and then on the other one, Arte, or we've heard it every which direction, was Ricky, who claimed Brooke was like considering going for it, but Ricky claimed that he had more bank lined up to be able to take this on, and he would be competitive with Vince, because I guess Vince had told the guys before, I've lined up some great guys or gals for these fundraising tasks. So Ricky thought he would be competitive, and we saw later on what happened. But let's talk a little bit about, we'll get to Prima first. We'll cover them. Immediately in the van, it's just classic Celebrity Apprentice, and those vans going around town. Made a lot of money. I mean, there was a lot of money, a lot of phone calls going on. They were bringing it in.
I wish they would have told us who Vince was talking to.
Yes.
You know, it's usually is celebrities or it's some record exec, but I just out of curiosity, I want to know, is it his best friend? Is it someone he worked with? Is it a producer? Is it someone we know?
They definitely have not been good this season with giving us the little disclaimers at the bottom. What charity? Whatever. Who are you calling? Who are you talking to? I just
Right.
give me a little blurb at the bottom.
Yeah.
Something.
I know, these people are pledging a lot of money. The least you could do is say,
Like, give
you
him
know,
some props. Yeah, I
yeah,
know. Like,
owner of In and Out or something. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
something.
80,000, new housewife of Beverly Hills.
Yes. Well, we'll get to that.
But we
one
didn't
in a
need to be
moment.
told. We spotted her.
Yeah, we did. We did.
We did.
Pregnant. She
yes.
was pregnant at that time.
Oh, that I didn't notice.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
this was a year ago. So.
Makes
Yes.
sense.
So they immediately, on this team, Carson spearheaded researching what Warren liked. Use the power of the internet. I like it.
Smart
Getting
Carson
to work.
again.
Yes.
Carson for the win.
Yeah, I think he's going to do very well.
Carson is a contender.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to like him, Boy George, and like Lisa.
Yeah.
What about Chael? Chael will not like to hear that, Grant.
Oh, Chael, you need to relax.
Chael, I think next week maybe Chael's downfall.
Yeah, he's gonna make it doesn't look good for him. It
No.
looks really bad for him. I bet he has we'll talk to our predictions in a moment. But yeah, so they researched, I agree with them. They were like, keep it simple. This is what he likes. We're gonna do a dark chocolate and a cashew brittle. Done.
And swap something in and out so that it kind of mixes it up.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Smart thinking,
keep
guys.
it simple.
Right, and it must have been difficult to keep yourself reined in that situation because
When you've
we're
got, like,
looking
a
at all
sea-
those
oh, yeah.
flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Lisa really wanted to go to Omaha because she was not too happy that Chael was more interested in going. Which I would not want to go because then it's like, wait, now I'm taken out of the task. I can't use any of what I've accomplished to fight for myself when I'm on a
If you
plane
have
for
to.
4
Right,
hours.
right,
Yeah.
right. That's
So
true.
I wouldn't fight to go.
I think who they sent was important, and I think it would have been a good thing for some of the people to go because, you know, really presentation and schmoozing with Warren. I mean, Chael and John really could have made something out of it. They both did a great job, but
Yeah.
I think it could have been a little even chummier.
Chummier.
Chummier. Okay.
Yes. What did you make of Carson and Portia in the actual factory?
Comedy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
actually, my attention was 100% on Carson the entire time.
Yeah.
Honest to God. Like, I didn't even... I was like, Portia
Well,
was there?
Portia was talking about the butter and the pancakes.
Yeah.
I just remember that because it was a lot of butter.
That was a lot. That would be so cool. I would love to go into a factory like that and just see how it works, like for the candy and all that. I just think it would be so neat. I don't know. It looks so clean and like, I don't know. I would love to check it out.
I guess I'd go to like a makeup factory.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd just be curious to see how it's made. So Warren took a second bite of Team
I felt like he
Prima's.
took 2 bites of both
He
of them.
definitely
Did he?
did. Yes, he did.
Well, they made a big deal saying that, he ate this twice, he took 2 bites.
I'm like,
so-
just rewind,
Chael-
people,
Chael
you
has
can
studied
see.
the Donald Trump book of just saying what
The
you
obvious, yeah.
want to have happen,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
that
yeah,
made
yeah.
it be the thing.
He
that happened.
finished the candy.
He should have just done that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he asked for a second
Yeah.
piece.
I'm sure Warren was very methodic and how he went after, didn't give any reference over anything else. I'm sure.
He had a good poker face.
Yes,
He really
even,
did. He did
even
not
in
give
these
anything.
circumstances of celebrity candy, I'm sure it was well measured.
Yes.
So their store, Team Prima's store, was based at the actual factory of See's Candy in LA, which is in a lousy location where foot traffic. They even called it out. I would drive past this place every day to go to work when I would take like the 405. It's like on your way down to like the airport. So it's not in a shopping complex.
So there's no parking?
No.
Not really.
See, that's not fair.
It was not fair.
It's right next to a big Chinese laundry parking lot.
Yes, which looks so dumpy,
Chinese laundry,
by
the
the
shoes,
way.
not a Chinese
Yeah,
laundry.
which looks so dumpy.
Looks terrible.
Shout out to my sister Alyssa, who's listening.
that's
we
not-
always make fun of that Chinese laundry parking lot.
That's actually a point of argument. So had they lost, they could have called that out as a.
They definitely could have.
They totally
Yeah.
could have
As a
because that's not
disadvantage.
right.
Yeah, no, I mean, even they had a shot where it was like dead, and they were like, "No one's coming." Well, yeah, because I wouldn't go to that one. I would go out of my way to go to Marina Del Rey to go valet.
It looked like it was in some kind of outdoor mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like other fun shops there. Go have
Yeah,
lunch.
so they had like
spend money.
they had like the factory store, but you
That's
know,
not okay.
Yeah, no. And what can we say? There were some strippers that showed up. Hooters showed up.
They all had a cute
Kyle
little
Richards.
orchestrated, like it was each one's turn to say something, and they got it down. It was cute.
Yes, yes.
That was kind of cute. Although I really wish, again, the company and the amount. Please give me the company and the. I don't care that you've said it out loud. Just do it again.
Shout it
You
out.
know, and like Brittany, Whitney, and Tiffany. Like, give us a what?
Yes.
We want to follow
like
those
it.
girls on social
They
media.
want to see that too. They're like,
They
"That's
waited
me, that's
all years for that moment.
right?
And even Kyle Richards showed up with $10,000. I was curious. I wanted to see her in a fundraising task. I just wanted to see where, I don't know,
Oh,
money
that would
she
have
could
been
bring
interesting.
in.
Yeah,
You know?
that would have been interesting.
Especially
You know, they would have
with
shown her
Kathy.
calling all the housewives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially
Who would
with
have
Kathy
brought in the
Hilton.
most?
Yeah.
And you know that the morally corrupt Faye Resnick would have to make an appearance to be on an NBC show.
Of course. I'm surprised she didn't come in with Kyle.
I know.
Oh.
I know. Where was she? She was still parking the car, I think. She was like
She might have been
an
in the
idol.
car.
Yeah,
Yes,
with like the
waiting.
flashers
Yeah.
on. Yes.
It's true.
So on the other, I was gonna say the men's team, Arte or whoever they are, Ricky's team, Layla spearheaded the recipe and the chocolate, and John was very vocal about what he thought about what it should be, and then that's prompted Ricky sending him away to go to Omaha.
It was a little sort of. It was a little nuts, actually. How much he really needed the peppermint in there.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not a peppermint fan, so
Ooh,
I
I
love
think-
John and I love his dog, but I was
yeah.
surprised though that the answer to that for Ricky was to send him away to Omaha because it seemed like again I felt that was a bigger part of the task than some of the other things that were going on. But we learned something interesting about Ricky during this, and that's that he is a cannabis enthusiast. Apparently, I mean, and he's not hidden that. People who know about him know that.
Right.
But so that just explains why he's so blah all the time. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
just high.
See, here's the thing. I know people
The light
though,
is
that are.
dimmed.
I know people
Yeah.
that are very big fans of cannabis and are definitely not of his temperament.
That's true.
I don't know. I just feel like
It's
a little
whatever
untamed.
strain he's taking in. I don't know.
He
I
needs
feel-
to
maybe it's-
swap out
yeah.
for sativa, honey.
Right, maybe it is a little, and maybe it's a little strong. I don't know. I just think that it kind of like dims the light a little bit. You're not as sharp. I feel like I don't know. Maybe he's. I don't think you're your full self.
Well, yeah. Hey,
Perhaps he was not high at all in this show. I don't know.
I mean, he was just maybe sleep deprived,
He
according
just,
to him.
you know, he's an athlete at the end of the day. They're not going to razzle dazzle us with their like personality anyway.
I
so.
Googled it, and one of the top stories that comes up says Ricky Williams kind of quit football to smoke weed. So apparently it's high on his
nice.
priority list.
Yes.
Wow, that
Right?
Wow. Okay.
So he let go of his talent to be high. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about more things. You know, I just have so much respect for that. Anyway, what else can we say? So Matt Eisman was worried that he wasn't going to be able to raise enough money for this task.
And he was like killing it,
Yeah, so he said, well, I'm
according
going
to editing.
Yeah, according to editing. But he said, like, I'm going to put my talents in other ways, in other positions. So I'm going to just, like, spearhead, like, this factory stuff and get in there with Layla. So I respect that. Because he could have just been like, oh, I'm just going to do my best and hope for the best. But no, he's
I
a
don't take
team
him
player.
like that though. Yeah,
he's a player.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I like
he's a contender.
Yes.
He's smart, and I think he does seem like the kind of guy who's even going to surprise himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not super pompous. He's not overly confident like some of the other guys on the show are.
He stands out to me. I actually respect him and really like him. Like, I feel like I've
I've
really
been
know him much.
surprised by him.
Yeah,
I know.
I didn't know really. I mean, I've watched that Ninja Warrior, but I mean, I don't know where the hell he was in Ninja Warrior. I don't. He's not memorable on that. But I am glad. I like him on the show. He's got a good personality. Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
So good for him. There was a bunch of stuff they put in this chocolate. I might have missed some, but it was caramel chocolate, vanilla, almonds, pecans, and raspberry. Count me
You
right
get
out.
it. You get it.
Count me right out. I don't do nuts and I don't do raspberry. Bye.
You and apparently everyone else, according to that education we got from, was it Chael? Who was it that said that raspberry is not a win for people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something else he knows all about?
Interesting.
Oh yeah, something else. Another expertise in the House of Chael. Yes, Brooke was concerned that Ricky was so quiet leading up to this unveiling or store opening, and she was worried that he wasn't going to bring in the money, and she actually had right to be concerned.
Seems so. You know what I thought was actually kind of odd? It was interesting to me that on the one team they were showing the $30 box, then the $100 signed box, but the other team they didn't show how they were selling it. Like, were they also doing the $30 and $100? Because had they done that, perhaps they would have really won by even more. Like, that was
So
confusing
smart.
to me. And then also, it seemed that a lot of the celebs at the Marina Del Rey one, they were Ricky's team. They were tweeting, so there was a lot of people showing up for Boy George, for whatever. They were like, "Hey, I'm here! Come!" And on the other team, we weren't seeing any of that. Like, are any of you guys blasting this out?
Yes.
Because I don't know. It just seemed like.
And how were they able to do that? Because that would really give away who's still on the show at what task. How
There you go.
I'm confused as to how. I mean, they don't get to post pictures while they're shooting and stuff. But he definitely said, like, you put the word out on the internet and people will come.
Right.
Yeah, it must
There's
be
some
a
dirty
pain
pool
for
going on
producers.
here.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
that team knew that they were bringing in big name, big checks, and they didn't really have to be concerned with how to sell the candy. $30, $100. You know.
I don't know, but I thought that was creative. I was like, ooh, good idea. 30, 100. I like that. But yeah, anyway.
You know, I was most impressed with how much money Boy George brought in. I mean, he did pretty well. He had PK from the Real Housewives of Beverly
manager.
Hills. Yes. And his team.
His roommate.
Yeah.
His roomie and manager of a very
Yes.
long time. Yes.
But it seemed like I just loved watching Boy with his fans and everything. Like, that was nice.
That
That's
was
kind of
lovely.
what it's about. And like he even said, like, these people don't have a lot of money and they still gave. So I respect that.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? I
100%.
bet you he got every single one of their names and numbers, and I bet you he reimbursed them.
Think so?
I think he did.
Yeah.
He just seems like the type.
Yeah,
Aww.
that'd be nice. Yeah. Even Vince Neil, like, you know, I respect him as well. I mean, he's a nice guy too. You can tell like he was like genuinely touched that woman. I think her name was Lisa. Or
Oh, yeah.
They like came and like was like had a connection to the charity and.
But again, that's what we haven't seen from this season that we loved about the past seasons was
Yeah.
them being so excited to raise money for their charities.
Yes.
He was genuinely emotionally connected to this, and it made you want to root for him and his team.
I agree. Yeah. What else can we say? Oh yeah, we've covered all of that. So sorry. There's just so much here to cover on this show. But
They breeze,
we'll
we're
just
breezing.
jump right to the boardroom and let's talk about how Lisa she liked Vince as a project manager. I feel like this is the first time she gave praise to a PM.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Go, Lisa.
Yes. She seems like happier in her new boat.
I think so
Yeah.
too. A little
You know?
less estrogen. She needed slightly less in the mix.
Yes, yeah. Maybe she's just like a guy's girl, and she just gravitates more towards guys and their work style and their
But
personalities.
even it seemed like even she and Portia, it was just better, right?
Yeah.
It just I don't know. It was like the balance of the men helped.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say it's the same.
Yeah.
And the snippets we saw, but yeah, I felt
I
that
don't know.
vibe.
We didn't get anything weird, which
Right.
is good.
Yes, I agree. Yes. So
No Aki moments.
So Ricky admitted that he did not hit his target that Brooke could have potentially hit, as she claimed. So instantly I was like, damn, this guy's in trouble because he came in here saying that he'd be able to hit a number after watching so many seasons of Celebrity Apprentice. You're kind of beholden to what you say you can do. Like that is what this is a fundraising task. You're coming in saying I'm responsible for this much. And if you don't hit it, you fail.
I mean, we know Brooke didn't want that position anyway because she's trying to fly under the radar and not put herself on the line. But if you're going to talk a game, you got to back it up. And he should know
Yeah.
that being an athlete. I'm surprised that he made the mistake of overestimating himself like that because he just seems smarter than that.
Yeah. He only brought in $119,000 and he claimed he would bring in $300,000.
It's a small fraction of what he promised.
Yeah.
I'm like, where did that math come from? Like, who is bringing in?
Yeah.
Like, where?
And Boy George brought in 119 too. So that's why I was impressed by him because he didn't really have to, you know?
Right.
He could have just said like, here's like 80, 100, I'm good, you know?
Because we've seen some celebrities kind of keep people in their back pocket in case they're
Yo,
the
I need
project
another
manager
20.
of a task
Yeah,
that they need
yeah.
to fundraise. Yeah.
Oh, and that's exactly what I would do. I wouldn't burn everybody out either, especially if I'm not the project manager. So yeah, I get that. So what else? What can we say? So the grand totals came in. Ricky's team got $365,000, $745 total. And then Vince, his team brought in $378,535.
So close.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
a
lot of
$13,000 difference, I think.
And here's where the
overall.
Warren Buffett decision comes into play.
Yes. What did Warren's taste buds prefer? Bringing Vince to a grand total of $769,000. He won that bonus. I mean, that is a lot of money for a charity.
How surprised would you have been if Warren chose that raspberry one?
I would have been surprised.
Very, yes. I mean, I just think, they set it up to make with the brittle and the dark chocolate. They knew what he liked. I mean, it's not brain surgery.
That's true. It's too easy.
But I would have been
It's
so
too easy.
surprised. I would have been like, oh my God.
That would have been a jaw dropper.
The man is
Yes.
changing.
So it's going to the Cleveland Clinic for brain disease. I guess the disease that his friend had passed from was MSA. So there's a lot of, he's said there's a lot of research, like it's a rare thing. So they really could use the money. So they've got it.
It was so lovely to see how he reacted to that. I mean, he was truly shaken.
Yes.
He was.
So Schwarzenegger immediately calls out Ricky for falling short on how much he had said that he would be able to raise. And he said, you guys didn't do any research. Like, why didn't you use the internet? So there you go with that. Ricky says that John was the weakest, raising only $500. I thought it was 5,000 when they said that the Laugh Factory had donated, but I guess it was only 500. But what did he say? He said, I was flying, I couldn't do that much, I couldn't raise that much because I was going to Omaha, but then Chael was able to raise a certain amount, so that didn't stand up in the boardroom.
Right.
Well, John Lovitz, I mean, we got to think, though, his people he's hanging out with are comedians, actors, Hollywood types. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised that he doesn't have a lot of big pocket people in his corner.
I wasn't. I really wasn't. I mean, I thought he could do better than $500.
Well, for sure, yeah.
But, I mean, I
I also,
he's not an athlete.
I
you
don't know. I was still surprised that he was the one instead of Ricky.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Ricky's the project manager, and like do more to support your dudes.
Yeah.
And
How come it wasn't mentioned with Ricky in the boardroom? You're an athlete. Where did you go wrong? Like, why was this all you could do? Like, you're in a different bracket. You know what I mean? I feel like that just should have been. I feel like Trump would have called him out on it and been like, because he had in the past. Trump would always be like, he would look at them and talk about their career and say, why would he? Remember last year with that
so you played with so
that poor girl from the Cosby Show when he fired her because she didn't call up Bill.
oh,
Yeah, so I'm just looking like as that in his example. I feel like Ricky failed at this, especially from the start when he said I can bring in a certain amount of money, and they did lose by a small margin before the 25,000.
right, that's true.
So
yes.
Either between John, if John raised a little more, they would have come even up further up. But if Ricky met his goal, there wouldn't have been a competition.
Right.
And again, I want to know who Ricky got the money from so that I know who he didn't ask.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Did it come from athletes?
Right.
Did it come from team owners? Did it come from the cannabis industry? Maybe that's why we didn't hear anything of it. Maybe it was
It's all very
a
interesting.
bunch of cannabis pushers.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with cannabis pushers. Maybe that's just not NBC's demo.
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah.
But ultimately, even Matt pointed out, well, this is a fundraising task, so I guess that they just went with the person who got the lowest
Yeah,
amount.
that's true. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so it was. We know where it all went. We know the final three. It was John, Layla, and Ricky. Layla didn't say anything. She didn't have
Shouldn't
to.
need to.
Yeah, and that was it for John. John tried to stay a little longer if you caught him at the
That was really
chopper.
funny.
He's so endearing.
He is.
He
Loves
just,
John
and when I've
Lovitz.
interviewed him too, he's just like the sweetest man. I think you just expect him to be this obnoxious comedian type, and he just is so darn cute, and the dog, and it's just I felt so bad for him.
If I meet him, I'm gonna give him an Andy's mint.
He'll be so excited.
Wait, I missed it. Why?
Because he likes
He likes
peppermint.
chocolatey
okay.
candy.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
An Andy's mint, or whatever, a thin mint, whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever
okay,
I
That's
want.
what he was going for
yes.
originally. Yes.
Got it, yes.
The
Find one
Yes.
minty thing.
Let's predict real quick before we wrap up. Really
Your
quickly.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I think Chael's gonna do something really, really shady, and he's gonna be terminated for it. It's gonna be terminated, a triple termination. So there'll be one from each task, and then him also.
Oh my god.
Yup.
I guess fine.
Yeah, I think
I
you're
predict that there should be more episodes, and another 4 is not enough. 5,
Yeah.
what is it? I don't know. This is all insane
3
to me.
until the finale, and then there's
Which
a
we assume
finale.
is a 2-part.
This is like not okay.
Because then there's the live finale.
Oh yeah.
So blah 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 blah. Count them out.
Me no
but
likey.
Yes, I don't know. I think Cheryl, your goose is cooked, and I think it might be
hello.
time. So I don't know. You gotta behave. It's gonna be a mess, especially if Portia's involved, because it always goes wild with her.
Yes.
Yep. Here we
So
go.
we have a lot to look forward to next week. In the meantime, you guys keep up with us. Leave your comments below. We want to hear what you have to say about this episode. And we appreciate all the love on Twitter as well. You guys can follow us at all these lovely places.
Well, for all your juicy news tidbits, like this 2 that I actually forgot, Boy George is the face of Spring/Summer 2017
Ooh.
Dior Home campaign.
Nice.
for him. That's a
And
good
Chael, my fave, says he's going to consider a 2018 run for a Congress seat if he has time.
Oh, he's
Wow.
stop.
Legit, he's
too
legit
busy
though.
reading
He's gonna
books.
get into politics, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. Please reach out to me at Christy Reports and check out youtube.com/Christy Reports.
You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean.
And you guys can find me on my podcast at all times, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk, and on Twitter at Grants__rants. We'll be back with more Celebrity Apprentice with a triple termination.
Wow.
It's gonna be so good.
Yes.
Oi. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.